All right, we have the James Krause joining us right now, proving once again that if there's a short notice fight that needs filling, he is the guy to call. Luckily, he gets a little more time to prepare for this one than his last fight. He takes on Claudio Silva on Fight Island, October 17th. James, how are you, man?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing great. So this came together very quickly. Claudio was set to fight Muslim Salikov. How did you get inserted into this conversation?
Well, it's kind of a weird deal. The fight was actually initially offered to me, and I accepted it. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, they pulled the fight from me and said they would not in a bad way, but they said they wanted to put me stateside instead. And so they gave it to somebody else. That guy fell out, and they offered it to me again like 3-4 weeks ago or something like that. And I said no. I didn't want to do it on that short of notice because I didn't have a camp. And then anyway, I thought I would get another fight, a different fight on a later card, because initially the fight was set to be a little earlier, I believe. And long story short, they ended up offering it again, and I was just like, screw it, let's just take it, because if I don't fight right now on the island, I won't fight again for the rest of the year. I have too many people booked. Like, I have like 4 or 5 guys in the UFC in November. I have Megan's title fight in December, and then I have probably another 4 or 5 guys that aren't booked at the moment. So those guys will recycle through and fight fourth quarter as well. So I'll be busy at the fourth quarter, and I won't have time to do a camp or anything like that. So why not? I'm always in shape. I train every day. You know what I mean? Like, why not?
Yeah, I was curious about that because, you and I have spoken many times in the past, and one of the things we talked about is it was after the last fight in Brazil, you were like, I don't really want to travel internationally anymore because of, additional expenses, taxes, and all that stuff. So it seems that you just kind of felt like, if I'm going to fight this year, it doesn't matter where it's going to be, I have to take this opportunity. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, but the taxes are not, it's not the same. You know what I mean? Like it is not the same. There's no double tax or anything like that. So, cool. But yeah, it's basically it came down. The deciding factor for me was like, hey, if you don't take this fight, you won't fight again for the rest of the year. And we have 12 guys in my gym right now. So there's no sign to me that that's going to slow up anytime soon. You know what I mean? So it almost is better for me to take something short notice. I'm in the gym every day anyway, so why not?
How's the weight right now? Because I know, cutting the last fight, you were at 185, so it was a little bit easier to get there. You still had to do it on a day's notice, so it was probably a little bit stressful. But what's the weight at right now? How much you have to cut to get to that mark? I'm in quarantine right now, so I don't have a scale. But before I left, I was waking up at like 187, 188. So I'm good. I mean, I've done way worse cuts. You know what I mean? When I was fighting at 55, that was a normal cut for me. So I want to switch gears briefly because, your team, like you said, they've been competing quite a bit as of late. Of course, you're coach and owner of Glory MMA and Fitness. And I want to go back to one of your fighters that has been, in my opinion, one of the big stories of 2020, Kevin Croom. Like, what a night that was for him, for Grant Dawson, and for yourself. Like, he makes his UFC debut on, I'll call it Krause-like notice. He gets a first-round submission. And then there's this moment when I spoke with him after the fight that he described. It kind of gave me goosebumps. He said after he finished Roosevelt Roberts, he told me, let me just pull this up. He said, quote, I just mean mugged James like there was nobody else in the room. It was just the killers effing mean mugging each other. You two had this moment, James, when the fight ended. What was that night like for you, seeing him come from where he's come from in his career to having a moment like that probably changed his entire life?
So the backstory to that is there was about like so we took the fight against Caceres about a month before that, and then he tested positive for COVID, and then like literally almost every week leading up to that, there was another opportunity, and it just, for whatever reason, it would fall apart. And every single fight that was offered to us that was a potential, I really liked for Kevin. And then, you draw Roe's an animal, man. He's tough, so, and out of our weight class on a day's notice. So it's like, dude, well, we have to take it, you know what I mean, to get him in. But one of the things that I love as being a coach is like, there's 2 things that come to mind. As one is just watching somebody accomplish a lifetime of dedication, to a craft, and fulfilling that dream, or these guys sacrifice a lot. You know what I mean? They sacrifice so much to they don't sacrifice it to be able to do it. They sacrifice it for the possibility to be able to do it. You know what I mean? Like the possibility, it's not even a sure thing. And so to see somebody dedicate an adult lifehood to a craft, and then that craft finally pay off for them, is just so rewarding for me. But the thing that really does it for me is like, I get to see the raw, real, uncut, like there's no, that feeling that he's talking about. I feel like in that feeling, it's I'm going to sound stupid like this. You know, the Batman movie where the Joker saying, like, right before death, you know, you see the real person, like, so in a sense, I know your friends better than you do. And it's true. Like, I've seen those moments, the uncut, raw, unedited version of right after that moment, that his entire dedication, an adult lifehood to his craft has paid off. Like, nobody else has shared that with him. You know what I mean? Not his parents, not his girlfriend, not anybody. There's a connection there where I see inside of his feelings and emotions, and not just him, anybody, right? Like, and it's such an amazing, fulfilling, an emotion to have when you see such a good guy, you know, his whole life, the cards have been stacked against him. And, it's awesome to see that finally pay off for a dude like him. And like I said, like, I feel like I know him better than anybody.
You probably, I mean, you've had so many moments like that in your career. We're seeing your fighters go through that. But was this like the most memorable moment of your coaching career, or does something else stick out to you?
I gotta say, it's up there. You know, I love each one of my fighters, and when I look at like my top moments, I don't look at it as like, I don't rank them right here. I rank them as like top moments per fighter. And obviously that's my favorite with Kevin Croom, but like the emotions that we had just that month, not even just the month, but like the way he came to me. You know, he started his professional career at 5-5. You know what I mean? Like, he's a 500 fighter, and at some point he comes to me, and he's from Missouri. He's from my area. He left to go to a big gym, and it didn't give him what he was looking for, and he came back. And it was like a thing. And I just did another interview, and I feel like we're kind of getting known for this, but it's like, hey man, like, if your stuff is broke, come see us and we'll help you out. You know, we'll get you fixed right up. And he came almost like lost to us. And he really, he was one of the veterans in the room that believed in our culture and in our program early. And he really bought all the way into it, which in turn helped, you know, down the ladder. But, man, just watching him turn his entire career around, we've had a lot of ups and downs. And then that last month where it was just such a roller coaster, you know what I mean? Like, you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out. He got signed and cut in 24 hours. And then almost literally each week after that, there's another opportunity where he's possibly getting signed. We're ready to take it. You call us. We're ready. Have a bag packed. You know, we're ready to head to the airport now. Nope, sorry, we didn't get it. And then finally we get it, and then we draw Ro Roberts, and it's like, oh gosh, dang it. You know what I mean? And then for him to go out and do what he does, and gosh, it's just such a to answer your question, yeah, it's one of my top moments as a coach and as a friend. It's definitely up there.
So another name I want to bring up, part of this month-long roller coaster for you guys, was Jeff Molina, because he gets on the Contender Series, earns himself a contract, but he did so without any of his corners. Like, he didn't even know until the day before he was going to fight that there were a bunch of positive COVID tests. So, like, he had nobody except he ended up linking up with some people out in Vegas. But how proud were you to watch him overcome everything and put on a hell of a fight the way he did to get a contract like that?
Well, I'm glad it happened to him. You know what I mean? Because there's not everybody can handle that. And the way that kid handled that roller coaster of emotion, you know, he's a gangster, you know, absolute gangster to be able to handle that. And it didn't shake him 1%, not even a little bit. It didn't shake him at all. The way he handled that was like a true veteran. You thought this dude had 50 fights under his belt. Complete G about it. Didn't bother him at all. He is ready to roll. He trusts he trusts in the process. He trusts in the program. He's got confidence in his team, and he knows that it's not about the final moments of that. It's about the lead up, what we've done the last years, not the last day. It doesn't matter that I'm there. It helps me being there, but that's not what's important. He's got confidence in what we've done, getting him to that point.
So were you part of the list of folks that got COVID, or?
Yeah, I was. And I've been dealing with that. I've been dealing with that a ton. I don't even know if I should say this, but I've been dealing with a ton of like positive and negative tests. Like I would go 1 week and I would test positive, and then I would test negative again. So it's like, and I got, obviously I got sent home for that whole week. That was a terrible week, but it's just been a weird deal, but I'm past it now. So that's good.
There you go. And, Factory X, your other home, they've been making some moves as well. Brandon Royval gets a big win.
Yeah.
Now he's got a big fight coming up with Brandon Moreno. Nice to see Luigi Vendramini get a nice win a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, momentum is a real thing in the sport. You've been doing this for so long. You have like triple digit fights in your career. Like, do you take any momentum from those performances for yourself at this stage in the game?
Yeah.
Do you use it as motivation?
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. I mean, yeah, it's obviously it's great to watch your teammates win and stuff like that, but all that really doesn't matter when you get in there and punches start flying. You know what I mean? Like it's fun to watch these guys compete, and it's fun to watch the young kids have success and do well. And obviously it's like, if you surround yourself with winners, you get amped up, but like, when you get in there, it doesn't really, it's cool to the lead up. It's great to the lead up, but whenever you're in there, it doesn't matter.
So Claudio Silva is the man you'll be sharing the octagon with, and this is a guy who hasn't lost a fight in almost 13 years. He lost his first pro fight, and he hasn't lost since. He's 5-0 in the UFC. He's got a win over Leon Edwards on his resume. This is quite the risky proposition, but it's something that seems to be right up your alley, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, bro, he beat Leon 7 years ago. So like, look,
true.
You know what I mean? Like this. And I'm not taking anything away from him. He's obviously very good. He's very skilled. His age is starting to get up there, and I'm not saying that's going to be a factor, but I'm not saying it's not either. I'll watch his fight with Danny Roberts. He's got holes in his game, man. This dude's not some unbeatable guy going out and smoking everybody. You know what I mean? And I feel like I'm a very difficult guy to prep for. Like, you can't just bring some random 6-foot guy to come in and be me. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot of guys that you can go grab to emulate my style and how I move, the constant stance switching. You know what I mean? I'm very well rounded. I just don't think I'm a guy that you can just bring in and in a couple weeks and get a good look, or, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you have to be very, very selective to even get a close look at what I'm bringing to the table. And I've been doing this long enough, man. I really don't give a shit who's across from me.
So you like this one?
Yeah. If I didn't, I wouldn't take it. I mean, I really feel like, his striking, I feel like it's very similar to the Sergio Moraes fight. Great on the ground. He's going to be looking to take me down. If he gets me down and gets on top of me, I said this before on the Moraes fight, there could be problems, and it's my job to not let that happen, or to get back up. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like I said, it's very clear cut on, I'm probably going to try to keep this fight standing or be on top. He's probably going to try to get me down. And but I feel like I'm a far superior striker than him. And I feel like I can grapple with him. I grappled with Sergio Moraes. He's a 4-time world champion. I had no problem on the ground with him at all. You know what I mean? I was underneath him and side mount. He didn't do anything to me. I got on top of him, and it's not like I was out of place, at all. I can grapple well. And I know Claudio's got a different style of grappling. He's very good. He's very dangerous. He's got good power, aggressive. I just feel like I match up well with him. I'm hard to hit. I think I'm a difficult style to prep for.
You've been over to Fight Island already. You've experienced the bubble, the quarantine, etc. Do you feel like that gives you a little bit of an advantage, having gone through it already, where Claudio has not gone through anything like this? Like, do you think that helps you at all?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe just because I know the schedule well, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we've seen a lot of like kind of saturated performances from everybody there because the sleep is so difficult. I feel like I kind of have a good gauge on how to handle that. Yeah. You know, I'm not sure when we get in there, you know what I mean? When you get like, it's cool to say all this, that it matters in the lead up, you know, but like when you get in there, man, nobody gives a damn about that stuff. You know what I mean? Like punches are flying. I don't care. You know, that stuff, that all goes out the window whenever you start getting in there. So, man, I'm just expecting the best Claudio Silva to show up. I don't give a shit what his sleep schedule is like. I don't give a shit what his lead up. You know what I mean? It don't matter to me, man. All that stuff. If somebody breaks into your house at 2 a.m. or you can be like, oh man, I didn't get enough sleep. No, you're going to go fight. You know what I mean? That's just what it is.
It's a good way to look at it. How did you acclimate to the time, and how do you plan on acclimating to the time? Because I know some fighters look at it differently.
Yeah, I'll stay on the U.S. schedule. So I'll sleep, you know, just like the U.S. time.
So how do you see this all going down, James? This is a sneaky fight at 170 pounds.
Yeah.
I like this one. It's got an outstanding main event. This one, you know, gets right in there and mixes in very well with that fight. How do you get this thing done?
Yeah, man, I think, I don't know. I see it playing out a bunch of different ways. I feel like this is the thing that I feel like I have an advantage is I feel like I have way more ways to win this fight than he does. I feel like in order for him to win this fight, he needs to get me down. And I'm not saying, listen, man, I know the game is unforgiving. I'm not saying I can't get knocked out. I'm not saying, I just feel like the best shot he has to beat me is to get me down. And I feel like I can win in multiple different ways. And, you know, I could see me clipping him early. He's been rocked a couple different times. I could see, you know, decision. I could see a close fight. I don't know, man. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna see what his game is gonna be. I know he's gonna try to take me down, but I just feel like I'm a little too crafty for him. You know what I mean? Like I find ways to win, bro. You know what I mean? Like I've made a living off that. I have the ability to adjust and adapt in fights. I don't think he has that ability, and I just think that I can play different roles and different styles in this fight to keep him guessing. I have good feet. I just think that, you know, I'm going to exploit some weaknesses in his game. And obviously that's why we fight. I'm sure he's going to disagree. He says he's going to knock me out or sub me in the first round. You know what I mean? But he disagrees with what I'm saying. That's why we fight. So yeah, I mean, I just feel like I'm a little too crafty for him.
Last thing, I know you mentioned Megan Anderson. She's got herself a big fight coming up in December. Yep. She's fighting Amanda Nunes. I believe this is the first UFC title fight for the Glory Crew. Is that's true, right?
That's not true. Tim Elliott fought Demetrius Johnson.
That's right. How could I forget that?
Yep.
But you know, how excited is she? Like, how is she handling this opportunity that's going to be here in about 2 months or so?
Great. I mean, she's flying colors. She looks great in camps. You know, it's kind of a. We've started camp. You know, she trains every day anyway. But like, one of the things is like, you don't want to. We got that fight a long time ago, so you don't want to like start her in camp too early to where she gets burnt out or she gets hurt. So it's like she's definitely training hard, obviously. Like, we've ramped it up recently, 8 weeks out, and then we'll ramp it again, you know, as it gets closer. So it's just trying to keep her healthy and you know, strong. She looks great. You know, she's doing really well. Her trainings have been excellent. She's getting better every day. I'm excited for it. I know she is as well.
I know you got a fight coming up, but as a coach, I mean, you've cornered Anthony Smith and others in some big fights, but to be the head coach heading into a fight against someone like Amanda Nunes, and I remember having a conversation with Mark Montoya about preparing for John Jones, and he said it was one of the coolest things he's had the chance to do as a coach, trying to figure out that unbeatable puzzle. What is that like for you, trying to look at someone like Amanda, who has been so unstoppable for so long, one of the greatest to ever do it? What's it like from a coaching perspective to attempt to solve that puzzle that no one's been able to solve for a long time?
Yeah. So obviously this is all from a, you know, just my point of view, and it's hard to denounce her accolades and, you know, what she's done. She's incredible. So I don't really look for, she hasn't been beaten in a long time. You know what I mean? So it's really difficult to look for, like, it's hard to go back and say, oh, look at her fight against Kat Zingano, and, you know, that's how you beat her, because that really is irrelevant at this point. So you gotta try to break it down and look at small scenarios that she's lost. And I don't even mean, you know, I'm not saying she's lost rounds. I'm talking about like exchanges. I'm talking about small little plays that have happened that she's lost, or something has happened where, you know, she doesn't seem quite there. And that's usually what I look for. And obviously there's things that I have that I'm not going to really talk about too much, but Yeah, I mean, I think you got to look at small little plays. You know what I mean? In an NFL game, no matter what the score is, there's always plays that you lose, and you got to look at what happens in those plays. You know what I mean? So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to look at the small little scenarios that she's lost on any scale, and really try to exploit those and break those down.